this thing is in order. Let's go to roll call.
Mayor Lawson.
Here.
Commissioner Fishler.
Here.
Commissioner Archer.
Here.
Commissioner Irwin. Commissioner Calvert.
Present.
City Manager Savannah Fortenberry.
Here.
City Secretary Summer Lee here.
Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all that you provided. And we thank you, Lord, for your weather today. Lord, I ask that you be with us tonight as we go through this process. I pray that you would help us to make wise decisions. Help us to be people that can accomplish what your will is in this city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I, Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Item number 2, citizens' presentation. At this time, anyone on the list will be allowed to speak on any matter other than personnel matters or matters under litigation for a length of time not to exceed 3 minutes. No counsel or board discussion or action may take place on a matter until such matter has been placed on an agenda and posted in accordance with the law. I believe we have Mr. Dale Garner.
Mayor, Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Del Garner. I'm with Abilene Environmental Landfill, and we have a new mayor, some new council members. Just wanted to come up and tell you a little bit quickly of things that we've done. In the last 4 years, we've contributed over $12,000 worth of tire trailers to the city. We've been involved with the Pee Wee Football League, made contributions there. We, as a business, want to be good neighbors, good stewards, and be involved with the communities that we service. And even though we don't service this community, if you go down 20, we service a lot of the surrounding community. So that's where our involvement with this community comes. But with the new council members and you being new, I wanted to come by this evening. We were in a meeting talking about things, and one of our managers brought up the fact that we were well over $12,000 worth of tire trailers. And I know we picked up one last week, which is what started the conversation, or we dropped off one last week, which is what started the conversation. So I just wanted to come by and let y'all know that we're more than willing to work for the city, and we hope when we go back out for proposals, we'll have the opportunity to work on it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Lynette?
I just want to thank Savannah for putting the poll on the day of campus list. They have absolutely fantastic job. If y'all haven't driven by, you need to. It looks so tiny. They haul bags and bags and bags of leaves. They took out trash. They took out, bench that was torn up. I mean, started out outside that fence and put all those lines down on the benches. And I understand there's also 2 city workers that did some work out there before. So I want to thank those 2 guys as well. And this is how we're the citizen. Y'all just need to look at it. I mean, really, it just makes our group, both our whole group, much more determined to get it. And there's one thing I want to say, it's not part of the citizen, it's part of our group. We're open. I mean, when we want to do something, we come to y'all and say, this is what we want to do. So if someone says, hey, we got it from, low park corporate that they say we can do this. If we meet with y'all and say it, if we did meet with y'all and say it, and I know I mentioned something y'all and y'all's approval. So, I'm just saying, if somebody comes up to any of y'all and says, hey, Boulevard Posting, we can do this. Our answer to everyone is, you have to see the city. They don't mess with it, they get anybody in, they let them in. We don't have any control over the city, it's a mess with it. We ask, they let us. All I need, but thank you, Stan, for putting us on that, for putting this swimming pool like this. I mean, really, guys, if y'all haven't seen it, go out there and look at it. And I told them, I was in a people, and I was taking pictures, and I said, how's it look? I said, I'm yelling out, y'all left an absolute fantastic. So, thank y'all, appreciate it.
It's been a day since I've been here. I just wanted to quickly go over the settlement agreement between the City of Ranger and the Eastern County Supply District for the PUC. I've got the document that was signed in August, I believe August 6th. And for those wondering out there about their water rates going down or being cut, I think it's been put to bed that settlement's been reached, and there is no discount. There's nothing in the water. I'd like to. Maybe, since we've spent an enormous amount of money into this, Commissioner Calvert, let's put this on the agenda. See if we actually spent fighting this, and we didn't win. That's all.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, announcements from city council or staff comments may be made by council or staff, but no action is taken on the following topic without specific notice. Those items include expressions of thanks, congratulations, or condolence, information on holiday schedules, recognition of public officials, employees or citizens, other than employees or officials, whose status may be affected by the council to action. Reminders of community events or announcements involving imminent threat to the public health and safety of the people of the municipality. Do I have any announcements?
Mayor, the first one I want to start with is stage 2 is still in effect. There's been some rumor about stage 3 being in effect today. It is not. We are sitting at 1363.87 for the current lake level, but stage 3 goes into effect at 1363. So I cannot stress enough to conserve as much as possible and do your part. And then City Hall is closed September 2nd in observance of Labor Day. And the Day of Champions, I would like to thank all the volunteers, all the city workers, all the college students, all the staff. I'm echoing what Lynette said, but they really did a great job, not only on the pool. There was a lot of cleanup done, and they did a good job, and every year it gets better. We had close to 40 jobs on the list this year, and I know that impacted a lot of people. So that's all I have.
Anyone else? Agenda item number 4, discuss, consider approval of the city council meeting minutes for the regular meeting on August 12th, 2024. I did notice one thing on the agenda, and that was the invocation. I believe Charlie Arthur said the invocation last time. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we can correct that. I have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes with the correction.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Agenda item 5, discuss, consider approval for the annual renewal of the provision of services agreement with Eastern County Crisis Center.
Ms. Satterfield is not here. You have a letter in your packet and the service agreement. This is the same service agreement with the $25,000 payable amount to the process center. This is an annual payment that we give them.
Any a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Agenda item 6, discuss dilapidated building issue. Mr. Morales. Okay,
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, city administrators, and council. I guess, so we go to number 1, if possible. And I apologize for that being that kind of.
That's all I
Let's
got.
start with that. Number 2's fine. So, we'll start with number 2, and I guess really how this is going to tie in is the deliberate disregard to our own city code. Whether it's the council, the code enforcement officer, or the administration. That building across the street has been condemned. Now to the point, I guess somebody's actually removed the sticker. It's been like that for a long time. We've had members, new members that have ran on, we're going to clean up the city. They walk past it every day they come in here. This is going on throughout the city. The only reason that is brought up at this point is because it's right there across the street, guys. Every one of us walks past that, whether we're paying a gas bill or whatever we're doing, just to come to this meeting regularly. Everyone passes that building every day. And if we go to the next slide, number 2, I'm sorry. Well, that was 2. Number 2. Yeah, number 2, that's it right there. That's the other side of it. Completely open. Any child, any person, anyone can get in there. And remember, this is condemned. And this, unfortunately, is the face that we put on downtown. This is also the face that we put on, unfortunately, throughout our city. And obviously that was cool. So that's where we're starting at, is I feel, and I know we all have responsibility. I run a small business. I believe everyone here on the council runs some type of business. But it's at your pleasure, at our pleasure, that we elected people to be here and say, hey, we're going to take up this torch and we're going to handle this. And I believe the city is responsible to follow through. It's almost as if there's no accountability. And we're going to kind of get to that. All right, so now that we've kind of just taken out this big building we have right here immediately to our left, let's talk about the other problem, or 3 or 4, or number 4, which is the trailers. Let's go back a little bit. All right, so we're going to go back to these trailers. These trailers have been on the Vasquez property, on the city property as well, for decades. These are a danger to the community. Children, these are, and we'll go here shortly. We've already brought this up once, but now we're actually going to talk on it. These have been there for decades. The sad thing is, the park is across the street from it. The Veterans Park, you have distinguished people come down and speak. We have events there. You have children playing. This is what we see. This is what they can get into. All right, what's across the street from it? Let's go to the next slide. Unfortunately, we'll call it number 5. On that same property, there's a vacant house. Same condition, right there. Full of trash, animals, ready to burn down. On that same piece of property. All right, so then we'll go to number 6. That will leave rush through it, but, honestly, I don't know why y'all came in mixed up. It's all right, we can go to the fire department, it was pregnant. All right, so, that's the fire department directly diagonal to those buildings. Every day, our code enforcement officer or anyone who visits the fire department, that's within the sight line. It has been there for as long as those buildings have been there in that same condition. And I understand, it takes, you know, the gentleman who owns the property just says, hey, you know, it's not my trailer. But you know what? They've been on this property for decades. Our code enforcement division passes it every day. I reached out, unfortunately, about a month ago, to Mr. Calvert, to come and look at it. I understand he's busy, so he wasn't able to go. Thanks to him on.
No, I came by your property, but no, we're not gonna go down that route. Full disclosure, I told you to come down to the council and share these pictures, and I've asked you to do it every meeting. And I want all the citizens of Ranger that have an issue with how our town looks to come down and do this very thing that Joseph's doing. Because for years, the council, and now myself included, has allowed this to happen over and over and over again. This is a danger to our town. It's a danger to the businesses in town. It's not healthy for the mental health of our children. And I met with over 30 civic leaders to talk about cleaning up the town. And we have a plan to put into place to clean it up. And I want, and we want, Ranger to be the cleanest community in Eastland County in 4 years. It's doable. It won't be as painful as people think. And I asked to be put on the agenda to get a personnel director, which would also be our code enforcement
We're
officer.
off the subject.
This is not off the subject.
It is off the subject.
I'm tired of you silencing me on a personnel director when it is also, excuse me, you interrupted me, and I'm an elected commissioner.
Commissioner.
I'm an elected commissioner,
And I am the mayor.
and you can't just shut
Yes,
people up.
I can.
Oh, you can just shut people up.
I can call this meeting down. Let Mr. Morales finish his statement, and then we're gonna move on. And
Well,
I have that authority.
we have a discussion
I have
here.
that authority.
No, you don't.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Can I address it? That property is on the list that we're working on. They have been there all weekend long, hauling stuff out of there. There is progress being made. It's gonna take time, because it has sat there for a long time, but there is progress being made. They cleaned around it where they could get tires under it, where they wouldn't get snake bit. They've hauled, I don't know how many trailer loads out of there Saturday. I've been in contact with them every week. We have progress being made. That's better than we've ever had. We're working on it. You cannot change it overnight. It has to be a process, and that process we're in the middle of. And I've been a code enforcement officer here for 24 years, but I've never been able to be a code enforcement officer except for the last 4 months. I cannot do it overnight. I will do what I can. Like I told y'all before the council meeting, I have 7 properties on the list right now that we're working on. And that 7 properties takes time. That property was number 1. I've been working on it since that day. Property number 2 is right across the street that you talked about. We cannot get a hold of the people that own that property. We're working on that also. We have several avenues we're working on that. But when you do like we've done and let this stuff sit all these years, it's hard to make a decision and hard to find the owners. Some are dead, some are gone, moved off, some don't care. It is very, very hard to make contact. And when we don't make contact, we have to go another means. We have to go through the newspaper, put it in the newspaper about this property, and we have to start a process for public hearings. It's a process. It will not be done overnight. It takes time.
Each person has 30 days to comply with the first violation. Mr. Bosky has been working on that. But it's baby steps, but we're working on it. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
I talked to Bosky earlier today, and he reassured me that he's making traction as fast as he can. There's going to be a lot more done this weekend, and they're working on getting the truck ready to come in and move them to where he can get them to a place where he can actually tear them apart. Because we can't bury them or anything like that, so he's going to get them to another location where they can get them torn down, scrapped out, and hauled off. So he did call me today to reassure me that they are making progress.
All right, and I appreciate all that. That's good information. It doesn't change the fact for decades problems like this have occurred and are still there. I understand.
Sir,
Darryl-
address.
I understand that Mr. Darrell has a lot of weight, and I understand Mr. Calvert does as being a new council member, as well as some of the more tenured ones. You know, if you want to see that. But the mayor, everyone. The thing that we have, the biggest problem we have, I think, is that there's no accountability. There's these, hey, you're in violation, that's it. It disappears. It just sits there. A citizen, whoever it may be, say, hey, what happened to it? Well, you know, we can't tell you that's, we don't know. Maybe you have to file for freedom of information. There should be a process where someone has a concern, says, hey, this is going on, and we follow up. Hey, we're moving on it. This is where we are, or hey, it's not looking good. And it keeps a lot of rumors and misconceptions from being there if we're more transparent. You know, I know it takes money to do all of this. No, trust me. Run a small business. Nothing is free. You know, the taxpayers end up paying for it one way or another. But the community ultimately is who pays for the condition of the city. You know, it's neat business that pass through and like, man, yeah, we can buy some land here cheap, maybe, but do we really want to invest? You know, the children. I drove by the pool yesterday, this weekend. See them out there playing. That's awesome. I'm like, man, this is good. But would you trust them to go anywhere else? You know, I don't feel it. I don't. It's from buildings to the alleys. Alleys that are inaccessible for utility, for the city to even get to the utilities. The same condition that we allow these buildings to become dilapidated in is the same condition we're allowing our alleys to be overtaken by the residents, vagrants, or just fauna. You know, you can't get to your utilities. Right behind my building, where the, we can go there, I guess, which is number 8, which is right down there. That is Pioneer Cemetery. You can see there's supposed to be an alley there that's kind of highlighted. We have no idea where that alley is, but yet there's city utilities going through there. How does the city get to the utilities then? I'll tell you, they come to private property because one end of the alley is completely blocked with junk and overgrown vegetation. This other one that's on the Vasquez property that's it's not a dead end alley. It's not supposed to be a dead end alley because how do you backflush water on the utility system if it's a dead end alley? Then these utilities, water going right through there. It's supposed to be. Well, that's where my water is. There's supposed to be access. There is none. I will say that people work really hard to keep that little cemetery clean and up to date. It's 100 degrees and people are out there mowing and trying to do their best. But surrounding it is junk. People go pay their respects. It's a historical area. It's junk. Matter of fact, if we go to the next picture, let's say, that'd be number 9. That's obviously looks great, right? So put a 10, maybe. There's supposed to be an alley somewhere there. Hasn't been for a long time. Okay, let's go to 11. That's not going to be kind of random somewhere. Probably. Where's access to the alley? Again, there's junk in the way if there is access. So, this is all contributing to why people don't care about these buildings. They're like, hey, no one cares about, city property. Why should we care? So it really takes a community effort, but it takes everyone to be accountable, from me, the citizen, to the council, to our code enforcement, and there needs to be some type of levers that people can work together with and say, hey, look, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it. And it's getting done. The only reason that's getting done is because I brought it up. For 10 years, that property's been sitting like that. The only reason it's not done is because I'm here right now. And yes, unfortunately, some of you will have to do the same thing. You're going to have to get up. And I'm not saying let's all be Karens. No, we don't need to be that. But we need to point out, problems. And this is the only way we all can be responsible. And this is my concern. And then we'll go to one last one, which is 13. We have more, but right there, we can stop there. That's the green, next to that cemetery on the Vasquez property. And on the other side of it is trash, vagrants. But this is what people see. You can read it. I don't have to want to read it out loud.
Does that say state the F off?
That counts. Yes. Yes. That's exactly what it says. So that means, so the city's not even allowed to go and access their own alley. But this is, I think across the street, the buildings behind me, the cemetery, the alleyways. I know it's a lot, guys. I know it's a lot. I have a lot to do on my property, but somehow we need to start becoming responsible to each other and a little bit more transparent. That's all I'm asking. That's all. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Brian, did you have a discussion on that?
Real fast. I was part of the Champions since I worked with the college. 50 plus young men and women up there. They done a fantastic job. Question from the young people was the sad shape it looks. Why can't we plant the seed now instead of waiting to get with college for next year's Day of Champions to focus only on the look? Only on one city limit sign to the next city limit. That's what you two promised the town. Conversation after conversation when you had the little forum at Ranger College. Start with a look. And I think that's where we need to start. I think we plant the seed now. We get with the college. We start laying it out early. And say, this is our focus. Not 40 different properties all over the town. But if we can do that, we'll see if there's anything we can push downtown all the way to the pool. Again, if we need to do the pool again. But again, there's no decent way to drive into this town. Just go look. Pick that direction. I don't care if it's some kind of highway. I don't care if it's northbound. I don't care where you come from. It's every corner. It's every corner. So why don't we start now with planning that out? If we have the time now, let's plan it out. Start now. Simply focus on that. Stay on that track. Let's make contact with landowners, property owners, whatever we have to do. Start now. And then when we come to the Day of Champions, we'll have the dumpsters. We'll have everything in place. And we'll have focus and a place to start. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Great idea.
we're going to have to move on to agenda.
I'm curious why we're not gonna have a motion, we
There's
have,
no motion needed, it's an update, there's no action to be made on that.
it says discuss.
Discuss.
Why can we not discuss? Why do people get to sign up to discuss whatever they want to, but you silence your own commissioners that are elected?
I don't volunteer to be get off topic.
It's a discussion about dilapidated buildings, but you don't want to discuss solutions. You want to keep me off the agenda to rush to executive session items to pay more lawyers, but you want to keep me off the.
We have to meet with the lawyers at 6 o'clock.
That's, what did I just say? You gotta rush off and keep me off the agenda to go meet with more
You're
lawyers.
right,
You're right, absolutely.
you're right. So we will move on to item agenda 14. To discuss and consider convening the executive session pursuant to section 551.074 Texas Government Code to deliberate the employment and appointment of the city manager and an interim city manager. Section 551.071 Texas Government Code and section 1.05 Texas Disciplinary Conduct to consult with legal counsel regarding personnel investigations. Section 551.071 Texas Government Code and Section 1.05 Texas Disciplinary Conduct to consult with legal counsel regarding cause number CV 2246534, Ranger Aerial Maintenance Foundation versus City of Ranger in the 91st Judicial District Court, Eastern County, Texas, and the Ranger Aerial Foundation lease agreement, and cause number 24-067-DCCB-47030, Ranger Aerial Maintenance Foundation versus the City of Ranger in the 91st Judicial District Court, Eastern County, Texas. Savannah, time, so summary.